get this started. So today we pretty much discuss all things marketing. So since Sean and Roger are not here, this is not going to be necessarily like a teaching lesson. This is more for me to know where you guys are at. I know Sal and John pay packages with us for marketing, so we have those covered. But for example, Bob, you're in foundation level, right?
That's
So
correct.
one thing, I mean, and the fact that you guys, I mean, I remember when we had a meeting with Sal that you were interested in like, what else can I do since you guys are handling my marketing? So I love the fact that you are like still trying to stay involved, right, with whatever happens with your campaign. So we really appreciate that, of
Mm-hmm.
course. But at the same
Right.
time, the idea of you guys having a higher package is for you to have a relief, right? So you don't have to actually focus that much on your marketing and focus on other areas that might generate more revenue to your company, right?
Right.
So one thing, like, I mean, and this is pretty much the core to any marketing, it's the avatar persona. And I know that's something that Sean and Roger talk nonstop with that, right? So I would like to know, do you guys feel at this point that you nailed down already which ones are your avatar personas? I know that Bob at this point already has like a target or who is going to and what is the road of his business. But is it the same for you, Sal, for you, John? Like, where do you feel that you guys are at with that?
We're pretty good with our avatar. We have a pretty, we tried to tie in the name of the company, Ohana Legacy, with, with Ohana meaning in Hawaiian meaning family. No one gets left behind or forgotten. And it was from my kids, watching a Disney movie, and it was a family business. So we said, well, let's incorporate that in there. So, you want to incorporate into the avatar, trust, honesty, transparency, guidance and stuff like that. So we're trying to use that as part of our avatar for the people that we're going after. So for example, and I might be a little bit off on this, but when we go after someone with probate properties, we don't just say, hey, we can do this and we can do this. We can say, look, you can trust us. We're a family. We've been through this also. We've done this for other people. We can help you too. Here's what we've done for other people and stuff like that. And we have pretty good success once we get in front of people because we're sincere and we're open and we're sympathetic to what they do. And that leads to trust, which leads to, them wanting to do business with us.
Yeah, possible conversion of the lead. Okay, yeah. I mean, so one thing, yeah, I mean, I do get the part like, so let's say your avatar person is more like a family member, right? It could be a parent, it could be a older kid. So it's a family in general. Now, the feeling that you get to them, the trust and all, it's elaborating, let's say, like the product, the presence of your offer, right? More than the avatar. So that's the unique offer that you make compared to the competition. But I like that. I mean, you pretty much go, let's say that your avatar persona, it's people like families in distress, not just people like usually real estate can like mention it that way. It's more like
Right.
families facing real estate situations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. What about you, Bob? Who is your avatar persona right now?
I have no idea. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. But there is what I'm trying to figure out is what particular avatar I need to really focus on because it is so diverse here in Tampa. It's really hard to nail something down. So what I've kind of focused on is working an avatar of building teammates. So in doing that, I've actually found two people who are literally on board with everything that I've been, working with. They're similar with the same avenue of doing the same process and bringing on to the same contract with this opportunity of housing. At the same time, one is the money person. The other one's already established as an Airbnb short-term rental type person. And neither of them know how to do analysis on off markets or comps or any of that stuff. So linking all of these pieces and connecting the dots is, I think, kind of like what I'm doing. So my next thing is to find the GC, which they've already brought in somebody that they know, but I got to vet the guy just to, see where he's at as far as his skill set. Because if worst comes to worst, we just need to get somebody that's willing to pull permits. I can do the work. I'm not worried about that, but I don't want to have to do the work. Let somebody else do that while I'm at my regular job, and that way there's a steady income. So the avatar right now is building the team. However, also looking at struggling landlords is what I'm trying to focus on right now. So I had talked with Kim and Gene about that a couple weeks ago. I hit Sean up about that, the avatar worksheet, and we didn't get an opportunity to dig into it because the day that we were supposed to talk about it, we wound up doing a deep dive on the funnels. So at some point, I'd like to actually sit down and go over that avatar worksheet, like in detail, because I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, I do feel like, the current right now you have like a misconception on how the avatar works, because yes, I do feel more that you're talking about the culture of your company at the moment that you say that you're looking for people that has the same feel, the same goals. That's more the culture of your company. For avatar persona, I could see for the talks that we had before, it's more like you said, tire landlords, or like opportunities for property opportunities that you can look like, if there's an unoccupied property, the opportunities like that you can give to that property. And at the end, the conversion is just like you said, get into a contract with police enforcement, or giving a second chance to other people. But I
Right.
could see more like your avatar person as like homeowners or tire landlords that are looking to do something else with the properties they own. I could see more your avatar going towards there, because that's going to be the primary income, and that's gonna be the part that's gonna be keeping everybody's let's say payments on the roll. So I will see it more that way. But yeah, if you can take a little bit more dig into that, I think that should give you more clarification, and also should help you to complete other part of your procedures that are the ones that you're also trying to figure out at the same time.
Okay.
Bob, one of the things that we did building our avatar is we have a whiteboard like everyone else does over here, and we have our company app, the avatar, and we said what do clients that we want to dealing with, what are they feeling, what are they going through, so that everything that we write out or do, we try to do the same thing. So we have it written here, things like anxiety, stressed out, feel boxed in, need help, need to get out, start over, relocate, confused, so frustrated, hopeless, no one to turn to. So we want to use that as our thought process as we reach out to clients, because that's kind of what they're feeling. And if we can tap into that, then build the trust, then hopefully we can get their business.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, actually that's a lot of it as well. When you create when you identify your avatar persona, you also want to identify what do they need. What is something that you can provide them with the company that you have. So yeah, thank you for that. John, we're gonna leave you till the end in case that you can participate, because I know that you're driving. If not, it's nice to have you just to listen, okay? So
Yeah, I can, as long as it doesn't kick out, I can talk about it.
awesome. Okay, so I know that right now you've been struggling with SOPs and trying to figure the
Yeah,
ways.
it just depends on like what the actual campaign is. So I have like multiple avatars. And it'll just depend on like if I'm doing like tired landlords, it's a certain avatar that might be different than like a probate, or that's different than something else. So it really depends on the avatar or the campaign, what I'm actually targeting, to decide which avatar to really go after. But in mine, like right now, I'm doing absentee owners. So obviously they don't live in the house. And then in my market, I'm doing like 10 years plus length of ownership, because most of the people that were able to get to their house, they need to have some equity in it. So it's easier to run your list with length of ownership than it is to say, because you could say like 40% more equity in the house. But in a lot of the list services that you could pull from, they don't, depending on your county or your state, they might not put all the data in there. So it could be unknown equity, or it could be, they have it wrong, or 100%. So you might miss it. So it's easier to just say they have a length of ownership that it's not changed hands for 10 years plus. And then for us, like the average is like $75,000 or less a year household income. So we've got it like that's almost across the board who sells in our area. So we know those things. So that's kind of what we target as the baseline. And then we go look for like whatever their pain points are. And that's where I'm trying to stack data on top to try to find people that have motivation. So it's like my base level is absentee owners or just people that's had a house for 10 years under 75,000 household income. And then on top of that, to find what's their problem. Like, do they have a bunch of liens, HOAs? Do they have pre-probate, deceased type list? And then, just looking on top of that. So that's just depends on the campaign, what we're actually like targeting, where we're targeting for, because we do a lot of like working with flippers and landlords to kind of figure out what they're looking for, and then we go try to find it from sources.
Yeah, actually, I do love that you mentioned that. The fact that, having an avatar persona, that it doesn't say that you guys are marrying with that specific target audience. We know the real estate, it's a pretty wide area of business, right? So I like what Janice mentioned, like having different avatars is gonna also let you know which is the funnels that you want to create in order to guide those persons to possible leads and also convert those leads into deals, right? So it's better if you guys start with one at the time, like identifying which ones are the ones you have expertise, right? I'm more familiar with the subject, so this is the one that I want to work with. And so. But I like what John said. It doesn't mean that you guys are completely married to just look for that type of personality whenever you're looking to get acquisitions, to get new sales done, right? It's also like whatever. I feel it's better if you guys work starting with something that you're familiar with and then you go towards there. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that that's going to be the only persona that you create marketing for. Hi, Victor. Welcome to joining. You might be wondering who am I and why do I have Sean's name? I'm Itzel. I'm the Client Success Manager at TRC. Sean and Roger are currently on sabbatical, so I'm looping in here, chatting with the guys and seeing pretty much what's up. So this is more like a discussion group more than anything. So here is an opportunity for you to share with us whatever knowledge you want. And right now we're talking if you guys already feel that you identify your avatar personas. So where do you feel at that point?
Yeah, so very, very new to everything, new to SEOs, pretty much just being a fly on the wall here and seeing what you guys are discussing. I unplugged myself a little bit from the community. I got really, really busy with my realtor side of the business, and my investment company, I have, again, unplugged. So I'm starting back up again. So I'm just gathering the knowledge from what you guys are discussing.
Awesome. No worries. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope that you can get something out of this. Now, not a problem. My conclusion and the reason why I'm asking about the avatars, this is something that Sean and Roger mention all the time, right? But the importance for that is because marketing in general costs money, right? And it's really time consuming. So unless you know who are you targeting with, you're pretty much shooting in the dark. So that could be a lot of money and also a lot of time expense that you could be dedicating to other areas of your business, as we mentioned at the beginning, right? So for me, like now knowing at least John, Saul, you already guys know John has several avatar personas and he already kind of has like a funnel in place. But this is more like a test for you, Bob, like identifying and try to nail that one down. Otherwise, it's okay if you want to share marketing into different, but just to see what sticks, which is fine. But also, like we know now at this point, the marketing can be really time consuming, right? So we want to make sure that if we're investing time and effort into something, it might be something that we are creating a process for a win, right? Instead of just like, oh yeah, let's see what it sticks, right? Because at the end of the day, it's time and effort, right? So with that being said, and now Sal, I'm putting you on the spot now that it seems pretty clear that you know who your avatar persona is. Besides of hiring us as your marketing agency and prior to have a package with us, what you were doing, like what were your main marketing strategies, let's say?
Well, the main marketing strategy was buying lists and then not really scrubbing those lists like we do now, but we would do that, and we would have a text service that would text out messages, which weren't very good because we didn't know what our avatar was. So, we were just saying, hey, you want to sell your house? We're here, So obviously we didn't get a lot of that. We did do a lot of direct mail to probate, and we did get 2 leads right away. Well, two properties right away on the leads. And I think it was because we started without realizing it, doing the avatar, putting that in there without realizing what the label was or anything like that. But as you know, the return on direct mail is about 1 to 3%. And there's only so much money you can spend on direct mail. I mean, we didn't send out 5,000 letters. We were sending out 250 at a time. And we were sitting at our kitchen table in the afternoons, folding and sticking and licking and doing all that. It got to get old. Chris and I wound up just flinging the letters at each other to see who we could hit first, because we were getting bored. So, so that's what we were doing before. So, and then we had, that was about it. And we did a little bit of driving around for dollars. We had the software that would tell us what the hottest zip codes were, where inventory was high. And then we'd say, okay, let's go and let's just go down streets and look for empty homes or homes that are under construction or homes that look vacant, ghost homes and stuff. And we would get the address, and we do the do the searches and find out the information and either try to call or send letters. That didn't work out very well. Same way with the bandit signs. That didn't work out very well either. So we've narrowed down what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that all of that you mentioned is something that we could classify nowadays as traditional marketing, right? The one that it takes a lot of time and expenses, and the revenue can be not that much.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah, the whole idea and the structure of this company is pretty much to provide you guys with tools to create organic or inbound marketing,
Right.
right? For organic leads. So the idea is like, let's say that the team of the whole inbound marketing is the idea of putting you not in front of all people, but more like in front of the people that is your avatar persona, people that it's possible buyers or actual leads with a higher range of possible conversion, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, time consuming might vary depending on what are you doing, if you have an agency, if you don't have it, or if you like to do the job on your own. But also I could say, like, considering like expenses of banners and driving around a city without actually knowing which houses are available or not, I could say that this reduces the expenses, right? At the moment that we're trying to target something. So yeah.
That the traditional marketing, I think it was good for us to learn it and to go out and experiment with it, because we realized, driving around for dollars makes us feel like we're doing something, but we're doing nothing. It's motion rather than it's motion rather than action. Okay. Spending $500 on bandit signs and running around early in the morning, hammering in bandit signs at every place we can go, to find them an hour later, on the ground or in the trash, doesn't really motivate you.
Yeah.
And you hear everybody saying it works, but I'm a true believer that the traditional way of marketing in real estate is either dead or dying. And I think that this is the approach that we're using now, the digital approach, and the, achieving um, organic leads and scrubbing all the data. In other words, you don't have to send out 5,000 letters to get that 1 to 3%. You can, as Sean was saying, strategically scrub the data as long as you know what you're scrubbing out, so that you're a little bit more finite. In the marketing that we did in medicine, with pharmaceuticals that I was in for 35 years, you would send out a flyer to 250,000 doctors every month, and hoping that 50 of them would respond. Well, because you had a $50,000 a month budget. I don't have that. Okay. And so, we watch our money, but we also try to do things that we feel are efficient. We'll see. We don't know yet. We're just at the accelerator package. We're just 6 or 7 weeks into the accelerator package. So we're babies. Okay. But we're still trying to do the other things too.
Yeah, and I mean, by this I'm not saying the traditional marketing doesn't work. I mean, of course it does hit, like, let's say company presence into the community that you are. So it's not something that I wouldn't dismiss completely, because either way, I mean, it's creating a presence of your company, but also at the same time working like with organic and like putting investment into inbound marketing can help you, like you said, like when you scrub a list, like give you like a more targeted audience, like hitting towards what you're actually interested in getting, right? Not just shooting in the dark. It's really a strategic marketing, the one that we build through inbound. It's not just like, let's say if you put banners as an example, like digital marketing works, you're not going to put in the whole area of Houston. You're going to put into really a specific sections, like you said, like the trendiest zip codes. That's the same way that we do it, but with keywords. Like we are trying to outstand the competition for a specific keywords of the people that is looking to buy or to sell, right? So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you should dismiss the whole idea. It's just like, let's say, like there has to be a strategic behind it, right? Like, and no marketing campaign will have an efficient result unless you know what you want to get out of that, right?
I think the good part for us is that I spent 35 years in sales, direct sales to customers. And so I have the marketing background because of the corporation I worked for. But ultimately, this is a people business, and you have to talk to people on the phone or one-on-one to get them to know who you are. I mean, we have started something with probate lawyers, where we have the probate lists that give us the names of the probate lawyers, but eventually you have to go meet these people. You have to go and meet these people. You have to get in front of them. They have to see you, to see what you are, and you have to present something. So one of the things we're building another lead magnet, Max, that's for probate. Like, what questions? Well, we just realized the other day that we want to make this a brochure, and we want to take this. We want to go to lawyers and say, how about if we put your organization on there, and you give this to your probate clients as a free service, but on the back it's going to have what we can do for the client too. So but we're going to go to like strategic lawyers that have a large amount of probate business. So it narrows it down from like 1,500 lawyers down to maybe 50. And it may take us 3 or 4 months to get to them, but that's our objective is to go literally drive up and go see them so that they can see who we are, because it is still a people business.
You can add to that is you could probably talk to them and do a reciprocal website, put their emblem on your website and your emblem on yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of you guys that were on last week, the week before, if you remember, we had a deal run by us that was a piece of land, and it was outside of our geography. It was in Texas, but it was outside of our Houston geography, and we didn't have any contacts in that area. And it was a probate lawyer who had the property. He wanted to sell it, and we just kind of let it go because we didn't have anything. A week later, I get a phone call from someone in Dallas who wants to do business with us, and said, "Hey, do you want to sell a piece of property. And so he's trying to sell that piece of property for that lawyer. And I'm not asking for any fee because I just want to build a relationship with the lawyer. So, I mean, those are the kinds of things, at least I think, those are the things that'll work. We'll see what happens, but I'm also trying to show my son what the other side of the people side of this business is, because you can do all the SEO and you can do all this scrubbing and everything else, but eventually you got to talk to someone.
This is where the NLP will come in very valuable.
Yep.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. I mean, I think at least on this company, that's something that we can definitely feel pride about. It's just your guys are not just like paying for being here and being part. We also want them to feel you guys part of the community, part of something, and the opportunity to share knowledge between you guys is not just a corporate soulless company with no one working and like everybody working on backstage. We actually have an opportunity to interact. Then let's say that at the end of the day generates possible networking possibilities and generating contacts, which I feel that towards the end of the day, that's one of the perks of working on a company that's trying to create connection between the clients that we have, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we did with lead vault is, my son and I have been calling contacts, as they come through and respond to our text messaging. And we thought it was being we thought it was being recorded so that we could, I said, let's do some training. Let's see how we did, on the fly. And we didn't have the button pressed. We didn't have the button clicked. So we didn't have the recordings. It was like, because it's hard it's easier for you to listen to yourself afterwards and see the mistakes you made or the things that you did well versus me saying, you should have did this and you should have did that. So we now have, thanks to support and to Sean, we have that button clicked so that when we do have conversation, it's recorded and we can listen to it and train ourselves.
That's kind of a rookie mistake. I have done that too, that I forgot to press a record button, but it's fine. I mean, at the end of it, I think like it's just part of like creating your process and procedures, right? So, I mean, I think that like for what you're saying, people's touch and all of that, I think Bob, it's a good example of it. I mean, most of the work that he has done already is just through networking and having that connection with the people that he's interested in working with. So I think that's also valuable. I mean, even though we live on a digital area, like digital efforts are never going to go to waste. I mean, that's something that it's a reality for everyone, right? But also like, I don't think that that's a reason for us to completely dismiss the human touch and also some other opportunities of marketing. It's not like, let's say like, it's different ways to approach it. But at the end of the day, if you have a clear goal of what you want to achieve with your marketing, so that goes to my other question. But before we go to that, John, anything you want to share regarding to the latest, let's say, I know that you're still working on process and procedures and you have your funnels and all of that, but what would you say is like your main marketing strategy right now? Are you doing email marketing, social media presence, like anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm switching the like channels that I'm going to use. I was doing the big direct mail dump. I did like 6,600 postcards over a 2-month period, and what we're seeing in a group that I'm in, it's like 0.25% is what postcards are getting right now in certain markets. So we just pulled back from that, and it's going to be a little more strategic with the stuff like Sean was saying, doing multi-hit. So we're kind of moving to cold calling on the front end with a lot of our data. So I'm getting the VA set up and all that, and going to be using ready mode and basically with our tier 1 or whatever tier. I get confused on this whole data stuff, but the cold calling tier. And then as we get like more stacked data, we're going to kind of target those with more text, initial text messaging, and try to just get up with them that way. And then if we don't get like people that slide through that don't get any message, that's who everybody's forgetting, right? The ones that don't reply, period. So we're going to be targeting them with a new redesigned postcard that we're going to send out that's literally going to say, here's a QR code. Hey, you have options in selling. If you ever thought about selling your house, kind of like what Sean mentioned, don't say like, here's the cash hammer, right? But have you ever thought about selling your house? Like we help you, we help guide you through solutions, period. Like, and then put a QR code on it that will go to a landing page that's going to have like, here's our 3-step process to that, like we're going to set with you and educate you on all the options that could potentially go through with your house. Because depending on what you have, you know, you might have a mortgage, you might not. So there's all kinds of different avenues. So it's like to sit down with somebody and just start that education process. So we're going to try to revamp everything to do that, because I think that's what most people aren't doing. So use a QR code, because everybody's used to that now. Go to a landing page, put a video, some script, some nice, pretty, like 1, 2, 3, this is the steps. We'll give you a free report. And if you use us, great. If you use it against us, I don't care. I'm going to give it to you anyway, because I want you to be informed, right? So it's just like, hey, I'm just going to educate you, because the next time I call you, I want you to be able to say, hey, yeah, I remember you helped me. Yeah, I'll use you next time. Right. So that's kind of the view that we're changing everything to. And it's, the problem is it's hard to do when you're the one-man show, except for Zach, my acquisitions guy. He just likes to talk on the phone. So, but what I did change is I just took some of the leads that we were mailing to, that we already mailed to the 6,600, and I just threw them in Lead Vault and but like, hey, person's name, I have a question, and we just started drip campaign like 2 days ago and just sent that out in like 10 messages every 30 minutes for 10 hours and let it go. And I think it's like 2,000 text messages going out, and Zach has been covered up today. So that's a good thing. So it's just, you got to keep something going, because if you stop marketing, then you're dead in the water. So that's where we were at. And changing all this, I was like, we're not getting anything in because our mailings have quit. So it's like, okay, we need to start mailing it or do something outbound wise.
Yeah,
But yeah.
transitioning from one process to another can lead to what you're saying, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily like dropping it all at once. It's more like if you want a smooth transition without having an empty space, this is something that you have to do one step at a time instead of just all the way drop.
Right. Yeah, so I'm in the middle of like 14 balls in the air trying to do all this, but it's all good. It's priorities and putting things in place. And
Hey,
I know,
John,
I know,
Juggling balls.
yeah, I know my superpower is the back office admin, marketing, big picture stuff, and it's like putting systems in place, and it's not being on the phone talking to people. And like I don't have the time to go look at all the properties, but I have somebody that can do that, so that's the good thing.
John, we're doing that multi-touch also. We shifted gears from the conversations we've had with Sean and Roger. So last week we sent out our, we had text, voicemail drop, text, and then now we're doing a letter. We did postcards last week with the QR code saying, we've been trying to reach you. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? And now just today, we just finished stuffing envelopes, because that's the second touch, is a letter. And then as we start narrowing down this funnel, we're going to do phone call. We're going to see how that works. I mean, we fumbled through it, but we're going to see if the different kinds of touches will make a difference.
Yeah, I believe in that, like persistency and consistency. It's a good combination whenever like there's something to track down. Something that you mentioned that goes actually towards the last question that I wanted to ask you guys. I do feel that every marketing campaign, besides you already have your avatar persona, you have like, let's say a marketing strategy that you're trying to put in place, but there has to be a purpose. Of course, I know the general purpose is going to be, oh, well, convert the lead, right? To actually close a sale or close a deal. But I do feel, I mean, I don't know if you guys were in meetings where we talk about the whole flywheel, right? Where we start with attracting possible leads, then generate the engagement, which is what you guys are doing by touching base with your clients and keeping the connection and all of that. But even though if they don't close a deal, the delight is something that it still can happen. Like John mentioned, actually, like even if he doesn't close a sale with me right now, the fact that he got a good experience out of that, he could become an advocate, even though that he didn't close the business with you, he can still be someone that spread the word out that there's someone they can trust to create to work with, to go on business with. So I would like to know, like, is that something that you make part of your campaign, is like part of the result that you want to give to whatever lead you guys touch with? I know because Sean already shared with us how is he doing that. But for example, Sal, how would you say, like, whenever you get in touch with these people, what do you think they're taking, even though that they're not doing precisely business with you, what they're taking as experience from Ohana?
What we want them, what we'd like for them to take away is that we're easy to talk to, that we're honest, and that we are there to help them. And not, if it's not a sale, like John said, that's okay. You know, we'll help. And that's the approach that we've been using. And it takes a lot of pressure off the person talking, like me or my son, because we're not asking to we're not closing all the time. We're saying, okay, what do you need? What's your situation? What are you looking for? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Positioning yourself almost like a little bit of an expert in the air. So, you know, we've helped some other people in this area. This is what happened. Does that fit your category? Okay, good. And then that's the approach we're trying to use. Like, you know, we're not there yet, but we certainly are working on that. One of the other things that we started doing based on conversations also is a referral list. We started with getting about 50 people that we want to keep in touch with constantly, like every 4 to 6 weeks. People that could help us with our business, prior clients or people who were potential clients, contractors, maybe the contractors we haven't worked with in the past, but keeping in touch with them, realtors that we've gone back and forth with, friends, and the kinds of friends that are constantly out looking around. We have a friend who's a roofer. Well, we're going to get in touch with him and keep in touch with him, let him know, say, hey, this is what we do for a living. This is what we do. If you see A, B, C, D, take a picture with the address, get it to us. If it is, we got a referral fee for you. Or, hey, you know someone who's in trouble, a family member or a friend, please remember, we've helped other people that are in trouble. We think this is going to be a good thing for us. Now, we don't have a very big network right now, but the last 2 deals we got from friend referrals. So there's something there to that. And I hope it builds on what you were talking about before.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that's actually part of the point, right? I mean, on the best scenario, we're closing a deal and this is generating revenue, right? But at the same time, if not, you're creating an advocate, someone that could be, and I mean, this is like the cheapest marketing. I mean, because you're not paying anything for these people just to recommend you. They're taking a good experience with your company, even though they didn't close any business with you. They're taking a good experience. And that's something that, I mean, every once in a while we get to meet someone that is in trouble and might need a little hand with something on real estate, right? So I mean, this is where the first person they're kind of come to their minds is someone that treat them respectfully and someone they were able to generate like a trust bond between them. It's like, oh yeah, I know someone that can help you with. I mean, most of our like of the community that we currently have at TRC, and you guys know, the comes from friends of friends or people that recommend us, or so that's how the family's been getting bigger and bigger, just because we want to think that you guys are getting a good experience plus a good service out of our company, so that keeps people coming and also keeps you guys in here with us. So yeah, anything else you guys want to share? Bob, Victor, John, Sal?
That's a good segue with the friends of friends. I actually have a neighbor across the street that wants to get in touch with Sean to transfer from his current company that's hosting, as well as the marketing stuff, to get all his shit up and running.
That's awesome. If he comes in, make sure that he refers to you, because we got goodies for referrals.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I actually have a couple that are on the list right now, and then my last good note was friend and family reached out to me today and is now my first PML with a significant sum of money.
That's nice. Congratulations. So yeah, go back to, I mean, I think yesterday we also talked about how important is networking. I mean, at the end of the day, if they become friends, that's also another plus, right? But also if it's an opportunity to close business or get more business towards you guys, that's also pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much everything that I had to share today. I don't know if you guys want to share anything else, or if you have any comments, suggestions, something else that you want to discuss. If not, I think we're good to go. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you guys tomorrow, okay? Bye,
Good night, guys.
everyone.
Good night.